Good evening, everybody. This is Dominic, as you may know. And this is a practice of mindful seeing. For this practice, I will be asking you, obviously, to keep your eyes open for most of the time. I will invite you to close your eyes at certain points, perhaps. And you probably need to maybe move from where you are. In fact, I'm certainly going to do that myself. So I'd like if you could move maybe to a window where you can actually be looking out that window or have the opportunity to look in that direction. So for this practice, it's a good idea to stand. You don't have to stand, but there are certainly advantages to standing. So as you can see, I'm moving around, facing the window now myself. And we keep the eyes open for the practice. It may be that you might want to turn off your camera if that would help you to feel a little bit less self-conscious as you're moving around your house or something. So feel free to do that if you need to. And once you've found yourself in front of the camera, sorry, in front of the window, I'm distracted here by the camera in front of me. Just really noticing your feet in contact with the floor. And having a sense of the body standing tall, having a sense of the length of the body and the height of the body, and maybe bending the knees slightly. So in that kind of readiness position that's often associated with martial arts, but it's not a tense readiness. It's a sort of an alert, relaxed readiness, if at all possible. And just allowing the shoulders to come back a little bit to open up the heart space. And then just noticing the window in front of you, if you can find a window to look out. And just connecting with the breath. And we're going to use the breath as a point of awareness or an anchor that we can come back to when we find that we're getting very distracted. So just tuning into the flow of the breath as you just look out the window in the ordinary way. And now, as you are looking out the window, having a kind of a wide angle lens view. So you want to take in everything that can be seen through the window, including any frame that the window may have. So it's a sort of very general, wide seeing. You're not focusing on any particular object or aspect of what you can see. And just notice what that's like. There would be temptations, of course, to look at maybe one particular thing that's interesting, such as a leaf swaying in the wind or a light outside your door or a plant blowing in the breeze, perhaps. But as best you can, not focusing on any one thing. Simply being with all and everything. And allowing the breath to regulate the awareness. And then we're going to play with this idea of seeing. So now focusing on one particular aspect of what you can see outside the window. So it could be a branch of a tree, it could be a car across the road, it could be a lamppost, it could be a brick in a house, it could be a tile on a roof nearby or a chimney. And really zoning in this time, giving it all your attention. Focusing on color, shape, and perhaps function. What's it for? Does it have a purpose? It may or may not. So zooming into that detail. Sustaining the attention as best you can on that one spot. Of course, everything else is also in the field of vision, but it's in the background. And in a way, everything else may at times function as potential distractions. And the training here is to stay rooted to that one detail that you've chosen. It can be helpful to maybe just allow a half smile on the face so that you relax the facial muscles and avoid any kind of tension in this kind of seeing. And now switching attention again so that you're taking that largely unfocused view of the whole of what you can see through the window. So that detail has now become background and is no longer foreground. And now choosing another point outside the window to focus on. And zooming in once again. Remaining faithful to just bare attention, bare seeing. And then zooming back out again so that you see the larger whole picture of the window. And this time, The idea is to focus on the window frame or the surround of the window, or if you have one of those traditional windows which have different panes in them, focusing on all of that structure, and everything through the window is simply background in unfocused attention. So this, for a lot of people, is a little bit challenging, but do the best you can. Again, keeping that half smile going as a way of countering any kind of intensity of effort that you might be tempted to give to this practice. And then just closing the eyes and just tuning in to what's here in the body right now. And then allowing the eyes to open once again. And this time, just focusing as best you can on the tip of the nose. So obviously you will be seeing things in the background, but the main focus of attention is the tip of the nose. And then zooming out once again, that you look out that window, just having a sort of midway attention to everything in the field of vision. And then bringing a hand up in front of you and coming to look at the hand. So beginning first with the palm of the hand, and just looking at the palm itself, different lines on the palm. And then starting with the small finger, just examining each finger. Giving it a kind of appreciative attention. Going from the small finger to the ring finger. Then to the middle finger. Then the index, pointing finger. And then the thumb. And then slowly turning the hand over and looking at the back of the hand as something whole in itself. We often say things like, I know that place like the back of my hand. But do we really know the back of the hand? Just observing the lines, the knuckles, the nails, any veins that might be prominent, different colorations. And looking at the hand and maybe turning it over with a sense of appreciation for the incredible engineering work involved in hands, complexity of hands, the fine bones, the connective tissue, and the many blood vessels. We can do so many things with hands. And then you can place the hand down by your side. And then maybe you might want to walk around the space you're in and just do a kind of visual inventory of what's in your room in a very appreciative kind of way. You might want to look at something as mundane as a door handle, as if you are seeing it for the very first time. You might want to touch it. You might want to look at its shape. Is it purely functional, or has somebody put some effort into making it also look beautiful? And then moving to some other object. So it could be as mundane as a light switch, and looking at a light switch as if you had never seen one before. But it's up to you to choose the object. We can let go of the ideas of some objects being more beautiful than others. Every object in the room potentially could be beautiful, depending on the awareness we bring to it. It could simply be a brick in the wall. Just really taking it in. And if you are looking at something that you cherish, like a picture or an ornament, allowing yourself, through gazing at it for a period of at least 20 seconds, to be nourished by what you see. And then when you're ready, maybe taking your seat, going back into a sitting meditation posture. And choosing whether you'd like to be with eyes open or eyes closed. So when we practice mindfulness, particularly when we focus on the breath, we can become familiar with this breath in ways that are enriching. The breath as a current of energy that, through its wave-like movement, steadies us and sustains us. And we can, through mindful seeing, also learn to stop and to really look at very ordinary, mundane things and take nourishment from them, from their very presence. We can frequently lose awareness of our surroundings and be lost in thought. But the objects around us are always present, here, steady. Connecting with these through mindful seeing can support steadiness in ourselves. And this kind of deliberate mindful seeing can counteract that tendency that so many modern people have of rushing and not seeing, losing contact with what's happening in the body and in the mind. So I'd like to end the practice with a poem. It's called Meeting the Light Completely by Jane Hirschfield. Even the long beloved was once an unrecognized stranger. Just so, the chipped lip of a blue glazed cup, blown field of a yellow curtain, might also, flooding and falling, ruin your heart. A table painted with roses, an empty clothesline. Each time the found world surprises. That is its nature. And then, what is said by all lovers? What fools we were not to have seen. So hoping this practice of seeing has allowed you to nurture yourself this evening, or any time that you might choose to watch this video.